Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, offering seasonal nonstop service to Denver. Outdoor concerts, hiking, and more activities in the Mile High City are one flight away on Frontier Airlines. Close, convenient, Sierra. More at CIRA.com.
One Bloomington school is marking its 100th birthday as a new school year begins. It's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Friday, August 16th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with an effort to help families facing food insecurity in Bloomington-Normal. Here's WGLT student reporter Colleen Holden.
Illinois State University and State Farm have set a goal to pack 1 million meals in one day. The volunteer event will take place on September 7th at Seth Q Arena. It will require 5,000 volunteers to successfully pull off. Here's ISU Athletics Chief Operating Officer Leanna Bordner.
When we were approached about this opportunity, Dr. Jerry Beggs, our Director of Athletics, went to President Tarhule and tossed the idea out, and it didn't take him very long at all to say, we need to do this.
The jambalaya meals will be distributed by Midwest Food Bank to food pantries throughout the state. Many of the meals will remain local, going to organizations like the School Street Food Pantry that serve specifically college students residing in Bloomington-Normal. The September event is the first time this event will be run through ISU. However, Melissa Schrader with State Farm says the insurer has been hosting similar food collections in Atlanta since 2019.
Now, we're not quite as large as in Atlanta, but we still have the need. There is still food insecurity. There are still families that have to determine, do I feed my family or do I pay my rent?
Event registration can be found at goredbirds.com. For the Leadoff, I'm Colleen Holden.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Several cannabis dispensaries in central Illinois are getting state social equity awards. Cookies in Bloomington and Snap Canna in Pontiac will each get $240,000 forgivable loans. They are among 23 dispensaries receiving $5.5 million in state help. Illinois State University has announced plans to rename a suite at Seth Q Arena in honor of Andy Butler. Butler was one of the so-called Redbird 7, who died in a plane crash in April of 2015. And the musician Lil Wayne broke the Illinois State Fair grandstand record for crowd size Wednesday night. He brought in over 15,000 people, surpassing the previous record holder, Jason Aldean, back from 2011. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Bent Elementary is celebrating 100 years in the community this fall. The Bloomington School will host festivities on September 7th to commemorate its centennial with building tours, fun activities, and food trucks. WGLT correspondent Sarah Nardi sat down with Bent parent and PTO member Harriet Steinbach, 5th grader Lyndon Miller, and Nick Bussin, Bent's longest-serving teacher. Bussin explains what it is that makes the school so special.
The cool thing about Bent is the whole staff is like one big giant family. And I'm not exaggerating. We really are very close as a staff, and we always strive to help each other out and help the kids. And so it's a wonderful place to be.
I've always heard that about Bent, that it has a very special sense of community there.
Yeah.
Does it feel like a family to you, Lyndon?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And Harriet, in preparation for the centennial, you've been doing a lot of historical research. What are some facts people might not know about Bent?
So, shout out to the McLean County Museum of History for their amazing archives and all of the pantograph digital photos that they have. It has been a tremendous source of information. So, some of my favorite facts that I've learned about Bent, one, learning that there was actually a school on the same grounds that Bent was prior to Bent being built. And I think I'm not exaggerating when I say there's a Pantograph article that talks about the reason that Hawthorne School, the school that predated Bent, had to be torn down is because it was like a fire trap. Oh. I really think I might be quoting exactly the article. So, but yeah, there was a school that was built in the 1800s, and then that was torn down to build Bent. Another fun fact is thinking about where Bent is in the early 1900s, where Bloomington would have been, right? Like that would have been very close to the center of the town at the time. But it was, there was a big grassy area around Bent. And so it became an important part of the county's baseball history. That was a space where, and not just kids, but adults would come and play baseball. But there was some city council minutes that noted neighbor complaints for gambling and cursing and chewing tobacco.
Oh my!
Being used
So scandalous.
in affiliated with the baseball game. So those are a couple of fun things that we've learned.
What are your hopes for the school, Mr. Besson, and the student body as time goes on and it continues to grow?
I just hope that we continue hiring great educators like we've had. We've been so blessed with, and having great students, and that way we can continue to help everyone learn and become lifelong learners, because that's really the goal, is to just keep improving our community by educating everyone to the best possible way that we can. So that's my wish.
Sure. Lyndon, do you feel like you've learned a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you know yet?
A teacher.
A teacher? What made you want to be a teacher?
I really liked all my teachers, and I was like, I want to be just like that.
Wow. Mr. Bussin, how does that make you feel?
Well, that makes me feel pretty good, because I was one of her teachers a couple years ago. So yeah, that makes me feel really good.
That's pretty great. Do you think you'd like to live here and teach at Bent? Really? I think that would be so cool. Harriet, as a Bent parent, what does the school mean to you?
Bent is such a special place, and it has a really strong sense of community. And I think that is a huge part of that is the teachers and just the culture of the school, which I think it's a long culture. I met someone at work. I work here at ISU, and I happened to be wearing a Bent shirt one day. And she said, "Did you go to Bent?" And I said, "No, but my son does." And she's like, "I went to Bent. I went to kindergarten there in 1976. That's when I started." And then I got to hear these stories, and I've heard them multiple times about, well, my mom went there and my grandma went there, or me and all four of my siblings went there. So I'll tell them about the event. And there's just so much excitement and connection to Bent that I don't think we always see with every elementary school experience.
That was Harriet Steinbach, Nick Bussin, and Lyndon Miller of Bent Elementary, talking about their school's 100th anniversary. They spoke with WGLT correspondent Sarah Nardi. You can hear the rest of their conversation at WGLT.org. Before we let you go, the free Front Street Music Festival in downtown Bloomington begins at 1 o'clock Saturday. You'll hear a rangy selection of local and regional jazz artists and headliners from Chicago and St. Louis. That's it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show is produced by Rosalie Truback. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you listen.